Alright, so attempting to work on the brakes on the Oldsmobile here. I can't get these bolts to budge, but rotor looks fine. Pads look fine. I did find out that the brake fluid was low. I put a bunch in there, pumped the pedal of the engine off, and it firmed right up. I don't see anything squirting out, like no brake lines are leaking. But the car is leaking something, but I don't know what. Because you can tell, I know it's hard to tell, I got fluid under here. Like underneath this thing. I know you can't see, let me get a flashlight. It appears to be coming from this pan. Like it's seeping, you can see like little droplets here and there that it's dripping off of. I don't know if that's brake fluid. I don't see what would be leaking over here, unless it's a brake line running this way that's leaking. It's not oil, it's not transmission, it's not coolant. It has no smell to it. So it's either, I'm thinking either it's brakes or it's power steering. I can scoop it up. Doesn't really have a color to it. It's not to dig under here. My jack don't stand up, so I had to put this up on a jack stand over here. Trying to investigate what exactly is leaking. Power steering is like, it's like between full and low. So I just topped off the brakes, I pumped it. Nothing's immediately squirting out. Whatever this is has been leaking for a while since I parked it in here, so it's a very slow drip. But what it is, I do not know. It doesn't smell like nothing. So I guess let me mosey, poke my head around here more and see if I can see what's leaking or where. Alright, the front brake's fine, I'm working on the back. They're kind of shot. One brake pad just disintegrated, you can see it's not much on there. And this fell off of it. Here's the other old one. Here are the new calipers. They come with new mountain hardware like this too. Bolts and everything in here. Well, minus the big bolts. Anyway, it doesn't come with these bolts, which is what hold this on. But I got the calipers. Just trying to get this one nut loose here to hold the brake line in place. So I can get that off and I can transfer it onto the new one. I got the old rotor off there. This thing probably sat. Car's rustier than I thought it was. I mean, look at it. Similar to the Pontiac. They're not as completely shot as it. But you know, I've seen cars worse. I've seen this. My friend had cars like this. That was like completely rusted out on the back. They were drum brakes though too. Got these shims. It does come with these little screws. Actually, it does. Or whatever screw that is. Anyway, just trying to get that mounted off so I can get the brake line off and transfer. This is cut, whatever that goes to, and there's a rubber hose on the rear differential. That's been cut or snapped. At the patch that, I don't know what that does. Rusty's got leaf springs in the back along with those shocks. Rusty, so it probably sat, probably used to tow a boat. And you know how people with boats go, they back the whole vehicle into the water with the trailer and all to get the boat off, so this thing's probably been dunked in the water several times. No remote start though, I tried. But you can tell here how the tires are shot, so I'm trying to get tires somewhere. Trying to make a video and everybody's got to come down here now. Yeah. So that's part of the backing of that. So let me mess around with this thing some more and see if I can get new calipers on here. I'm just going to reuse the existing brake. I don't want to damage this. This bolt's actually hollow. Look at the hardware here. This little bolt here. This bolt is that. You notice it's hollow here. Focus. See, it's hollow. Little hole there. Brake fluid squirts in through this square inside that bolt and down to the caliper. I went ahead and compressed the piston. It compressed. I used this piston compressor to ratchet. Comes with different sizes for different brakes. But I got a new rotor on here anyway, so either use the new mountain bracket or just use the old one. It's not that bad. But I don't want to break this, because then I gotta get a new line. Try not to spend any more money that way I have to. I'm maxing out my cards as it is, getting this thing running. So Let's go ahead and mount this back up and then work on the other side. Alright, new rotors on, new pads, new mounting bracket, same old caliper. Try getting off with it on there, but it's just rounding, the wrench is just rounding off the edges and I can't get the socket in here, so eventually maybe I'll buy a new one and replace a new caliper, but see if it runs or not. If I'm able to compress it, so it should work. So then so let's put this wheel on, go to the other side, which is flat, jack it up. The spare wheel is actually like an inch bigger, so I don't know if it'll fit or not. Alright, here's the driver's side rear, because these are the emergency brakes, you know, for the parking brake. So that's what these cables are on both sides. They're disconnected on both sides, so the emergency brake don't work. So it's held together with the parking powel, which is the gear inside the transmission. That's what's holding this thing in place, I guess. I don't know if there's one on the front or not. But those wheels kind of spin freely. So just don't park on any hills. This is completely ripped off. I might as well snap this little piece of metal off here before it does damage. And not using the correct tool anyway. I got the Allen ratchet. Then with that tight, use the hammer, start banging on this until the bolt slowly comes free. See how that's completely rotted away, but that's the parking brake there, emergency brake. That's supposed to expand, I guess. Or it's just a shim. Yeah, see, you got your little thing there. It's almost like this used to be disc brakes. Oh, it's a combo anyway. Because you got the little piston there, and these would expand out. These would expand out. That's why those are so deep. It's almost like a drum, but it's actually a disc drum combo. Just gonna reuse the same piston. That should be fine. Let's see if this is what makes them work after this or not. So we'll see if the brakes hold or not. Puddle doesn't seem to have gotten any bigger that I know of. But we will see. I don't know if that's brake fluid, if that's power steering. I don't know. It doesn't have a smell to it, but we'll find out. We will find out. Let me continue on with these brakes.